all the money goes to the Open Hand Foundation, an organization that we started in honor of my mom, and all that money goes to dementia research. We don't touch any of it. We just work with the people who do need the money, and we help them do their thing.
This isn't drama. This is erroring at best at severe negligence, or it could go into actual charitable fraud.
The important thing is that all the money is still in the account. None of it's spent erroneously. It's all above board. Like it's not hiding in a Cayman account or anything like that.
Hello everyone, and today we are talking about Jirard the Completionist. He was someone that was very well respected in the gaming community and someone I was a fan of. And after everything that's come out, I have to be honest, I am both shocked and extremely disappointed. But what did he do? Well, we'll get into that, but it's something that could toe the line of charitable fraud. Very serious allegations with evidence. And the situation is a little bit nuanced, but the evidence is very clear. For those of you who don't know who the Completionist is, he's a gaming YouTuber, and he completes games. He will show himself doing everything there is and listing it off. Another reason Gerard was very well respected in the community, just overall in YouTube, was because his charities. He would do lots of charity live streams. Indie Land, where he'd show off independent developers' works in video games. And it would all go, supposedly, to dementia research. All of this money from Indie Land and from a couple other different sources were going to the foundation his family created back in 2014 called the Open Hand Foundation. Now, I didn't know too much about this personally, but anyone giving to charity, that's a good thing. But the problem here was none of the money he's ever raised through the foundation, or his family has ever raised, has ever went to any dementia research at all. This was first brought to our attention because of Mudahar and Carl. They both did their own investigations because they were tipped off by someone, so they decided to look into their IRS records.
All right, so how do you vet a charity yourself, ladies and gentlemen? To vet a charity, you go to any of their websites, and usually at the very bottom, you'll find something like a tax ID, an EIN number. For the Open Hand Foundation, it's 300827510. You copy that, and you can basically go to the IRS charity lookup right here. And you put in the EIN number in this field and hit the search button. And that takes you to the Open Hand Foundation.
Now, I decided to look this up for myself just to be sure. I'm on the IRS site, and this is the Open Hand Foundation. For this site, it only goes up to 2016, but in Mudahar's video, it does go all the way to 2014. The most important line to focus on is line 25 of part 1. Right here, contributions, gifts, grants paid, 0. Now let's go to the 2020. What is that going to say? Line 25, gifts, grants paid, 0. Line 25, 0. Let's go to 2017. Go to line 25, contributions, gifts, 0. And once again, 0. According to Mudahar, it's closer to $600,000 that has been sitting in this account for at least 9 years. Now, this is a serious situation. This isn't drama like a lot of people were calling it, ethically and legally. To keep money and not tell anyone that you've never given it to where you said you were going to is very wrong.
To answer your question, Carl, I don't have an answer. I think that's my up. I have personally donated to AFTD and Alzheimer's Association over the years, and that's where, again, I assumed the money was going there to support them as we were talking negotiations. But, again, it doesn't matter. You guys are going to say what you're going to say, and I can't stop it. But the important thing is that all the money is still in the account. None of it's spent erroneously. It's all above board. What do you want me to do as soon as possible? If it's like, hey, Gerard, we want you to shut up and take the L so we can make content, that's fine. If that's what you guys think is the way to go, to call it a scam, sure. But I'm not trying to scam anyone. I would never try and scam in honor of my mom. Like, this is, I would not be outward facing knowing that I can get raked through the coals for this.
Now that was the interview, or at least part of the interview, that Carl and Mutahar did with Gerard. His big focus is his image, of course, but doesn't offer any solutions. He's asking them what he should do. Should he take the L? Is this an L, or is this a major issue that you should have addressed long ago? And with him saying with his charity in honor of his mom, of course, people weren't wanting to really look into this. Like I said, they were tipped off in the first place to want to look into the IRS filings. The thing is, it's been 9 years. 9 years, no money has went out. And he speaks about this a little later on as to why the money hasn't moved.
We looked through every single aspect of their public filings and found that they didn't contribute anything. In fact, me and Carl even went down and actually got a comment from their organization, and it reads like this in one actual message that we received. We have been evaluating potential beneficiaries who align with our visions, entities that could use our funds efficiently and effectively without a significant portion being diverted to administrative expenses. We asked Gerard about this, and it pretty much seems like what they have said to us in writing matches what he told us in an interview.
Whether it's UCSF or a partner that's also on our website, because we don't have any other benefactors currently. Like that's why I was like, well, they're taking care of it, but nothing was ever brought to my attention. So I know I have a paper trail of us talking to other organizations as early as 2020 and 2021 in an attempt to pay them what they were owed. And most of the conversations we had from some of the bigger orgs like Alzheimer's, they were like, look, if you're not going to pay more than 6 figures or 6+ figures of what they asked for, then you're just going to waste it. So the goal on the back end for my family that I've been told is like, we're just going to raise a bunch of money and then give it to one org.
Now, to me personally, that doesn't really make sense because, well, someone's going to pay those administrative fees anyways. After watching Mutahar's update video, it seems like maybe something else is going on.
This is actually the account of an individual that claims to work as an accountant for a nonprofit 501c3 organization for 7.5 years now. Donated. Organizations ask for as little as $35. Yes, I said that. So this person enlightens, and this is actually good information. For a general unrestricted donation, from the sounds of it, Open Hand would really like the money to be focused on a specific purpose, or as we would say, they want their donation to be restricted. And if you want your money to not just go into the hands of a CEO or other administrative costs, you want to see some tracking of your money going to work for the desired cause. So yes, it's true. I learned about unrestricted and restricted donations. Now, according to Investopedia, restricted donations, when a donor determines, typically fund designation is specified in writing. Restricted funds often describe how they want their money allocated when they distribute the award.
They want the funds to go specifically towards research, no administrative costs at all. Whether that's reasonable, I don't really know. I don't work with charities at all or have much knowledge of it. But what is unreasonable absolutely is not telling anyone exactly what they are planning to do.
I literally am about to donate all this money today and prior to that, earlier this week and the week before, and I've just been sitting here crippled trying to figure out the best way to handle this, because I felt like if I donated the money the minute you guys emailed me, it'd be a situation of, well, he's trying to hide it and he's admitting guilt by doing that. And I never felt that way, but I understand completely that you guys could easily argue that, and it would just make me look more like a scumbag. And
now, if that is the case, he wanted to wait and make sure it went to dementia research and not administrative costs. Why wouldn't he not openly say that? Why would he not make a public statement explaining everything? Well, if you're not a scumbag, just be honest. if you never meant to, be squirrely with everybody's charity funds, then you should have been open and not say, this indie land we're giving to such and such foundation. All your donations are going to this. Why are you lying to people? The thing to do would have been to say, hello, everyone. All the money is going to the Open Hand Foundation, and we are keeping the money held until we find a benefactor where we can put all the money into strictly dementia research and no administrative costs. That simple. But he chose not to go that route. And this is a response from Gerard's brother to Carl in the, I believe, initial email exchanges.
Going back to their comment, they wanted to address the regulatory frameworks with which 501c3 organizations like ours operates. We are subject to stringent regulations and are required to maintain compliance with federal laws. Our operations are transparent to regulatory bodies, including the IRS, and are subject to review to ensure adherence to these laws. Should there be any irregularities or misuse of funds, agencies such as the DOJ would intervene. Dude, the US government is not God, okay? Just because there's probably a lot of bad things going on transparently to the world. Remember, the IRS and the DOJ are human organizations. This probably isn't even enough money to show up on their radars.
They like to continue to emphasize, this was his brother again, that they are not doing anything illegal. If there was something illegal, the IRS would be after them. Well, like Mudahar said, the IRS and the DOJ are not God. They're just run by people. And now this is very suspicious. Someone should have caught on to this sooner. People like Sam Bankman-Fried got away with a lot worse. So, the wheels of justice turn slowly. But good news, he's facing 114 years in prison. Anyway, Mudahar further explains why this looks so bad from an auditor's perspective.
Any accountant that I've shown this to has brought up red flags after red flags. Even in the year of 2015, to show you their other expenses schedule, what's insane is when it comes to expenses, they've literally put expenses in just a general bucket called expenses. But any accountant will tell you this is just an audit waiting to happen. If the IRS sits down and audits you, they're going to make you break down exactly what $27,000 in expenses are.
Exactly right. And for those of you who don't know, I just got a full-time job in June, and I'm basically a glorified accountant, and I do audits. And when I do an audit, I need all your receipts. I need to know exactly what you spent your money on, and if things are kosher or not. I believe the IRS would be that intense as well.
And one of the things is, to compare it to another organization, this is the 990 filings of the Alzheimer's Association, and you can see instead of just writing expenses, they actually detail exactly where and how they're spending the money. This is the kind of accounting you want to see, not just throwing it into one bucket and calling it a day.
And I do understand this is a family-run foundation, but if you are paying for expenses and we don't know what they're going to, well, then you have the money to maybe hire an accountant yourselves to keep track of everything. I mean, we have things like Google Sheets for a reason. But, yeah, the IRS is probably going to take a look at this because of how odd it is. And on top of it all, their expenses drastically changes throughout the years. Mudahar shows that in total, they've spent $125,000 on expenses, but each year is different. 2015, $28,000, $11,000, $11,000, $14,000, $13,000, $6,000, $29,000 in 2021, $11,000 in 2022. What in the world are you spending the money on? It's not an accountant.
As we actively search for a partnership that meets our high standards, we welcome any recommendations you may have for our potential benefactors. We are more than willing to consider them in good faith. Dog, why should we, the journalists, do your job for you? You're the charitable organization. You've just been holding on to money when your only job was to find who you should donate to.
I knew it was sitting there at a certain point, and that's what made me proactively go about it. Like,
Do you know when that point was?
I was made aware in 2021 when the money hadn't moved yet. And that's what made me go, that's not cool. And that's when I got personally involved to move it. And
Did anyone...
2021 last year, 2022.
Now I find that interesting that he was not aware, but in Mudahar's latest video, it shows that he is legally responsible for finding where the money is supposed to go.
We're going to go to the one that's currently registered. So opening that one up, it'll give you details of this organization. And it'll also give you their various documents as well. Inside their documents, I looked through the founding papers, and in the founding papers, it was actually pretty noticeable where we found out in page 12, so Gerard works 40 hours on this. And here, Gerard is providing marketing and promotion, which obviously he's doing through IndieLand. And he's also evaluating charities to donate to and consider fundraising activities. So according to this filing, Gerard is taking an active approach in looking for charities as well too. And being a director, he obviously has to know what's going on in this organization. See, he was told that the money was still sitting in the account, but that's me being very charitable.
Everyone was listed with the task of evaluating charities, but like Mudahar said, he's a director. Why would he be unaware for 7-8 years that this money hasn't moved? Yet in documentation, it's his job to evaluate charities. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
From the statements that Gerard made on his streams for IndieLand 2020 and various other IndieLands, it leads everyone to believe, realistically, that the money is going to some charities. Listen to this really closely.
Brother and I started a foundation called the Open Hand Foundation that raises money for dementia research and treatment for organizations all over the world. We're soon going to be partnering up with the Alzheimer's Association, currently working with the University of San Francisco.
So, working with the University of San Francisco, I thought they were listed in your definition as a historical organization, and you were looking for other people. Again, the claims that are being made are definitely subject to review here.
Exactly what I've been saying throughout the video is he's been continuously saying that they are giving to specific organizations, naming them on the Open Hand Foundation site. So it's just been a continuous thing.
So IndieLand is a separate thing from Open Hand.
Correct.
But
yes.
Were you saying that Open Hand was paying expenses for IndieLand though?
Only some years and no more than a couple $1,000 depending on the year.
If you touch any money from charity, even if it's for operating expenses, that's not money that's all going to charity. Not all of it at all. And of course, even when you look at the filings, $0 has been contributed or granted to some of these organizations that they claim to help.
Raising money for dementia research in honor of my late mom, trying to help folks who've been impacted by dementia, working with organizations like USF, FTD Association of America, Alzheimer's Association of America, and so many more.
And there he lists who he's working with, which again contrasts with their actual statement they gave to me and Carl, where they were just evaluating potential beneficiaries.
I find this whole situation to be extremely frustrating because it could have been avoided if he was honest. His foundation, his family was honest that they were evaluating charities and not giving to charities. They've had 9 years to figure out a charity. They, at the very least, could have been honest and said, we haven't found one yet, but we are going to give it to a foundation soon when these boxes are checked off and it's going to research, not administrative costs. That would have been a lot better than saying nothing and then have people wonder, whatever happened to the money I donated? And another thing that was brought up in Mudahar's latest video is inflation. The value of that money has gone down. If it was donated sooner, it could have actually helped people more. But thank you for watching. I found this whole thing very frustrating, but please let me know what you think down in the comments below. And once again, I'd like to thank my channel members. It means a lot to me that you are supporting the channel. If you'd like to become a member, you can click the link down below or click the join button. And I will see you all next time. Bye!